Live from the Pines, coming at you live, another week two Texas High School football show. Tonight we have with us our co-host for the year, Gary Ivins. How you doing, sir?
Doing good, my man. Nice to be here. We'll get back with our boy Trey on a normal Wednesday night next week, as kind of ventured off the normal this week, but we'll be back ready and normal next week.
Yeah, excuse our layout tonight. We were not prepared to have a two people screen, but our guy got a phone call or email. Was that yesterday? That he'll get to play a little golf this weekend on a bigger stage than most of us get to play on.
He's going to do very well too. Trey's down at the Champions. What is it? The Texas Mid-Am.
Yes, sir.
Got it as an alternate, but I'm telling you, he's one of the best players there. He got a chance. He got a really good chance. Not only make the cut, but to make some noise come Sunday.
Man, I like his chances. You go back to the qualifier and, things didn't go his way in the qualifier and he gets to play in the playoff and didn't go his way. But, you go back and you just watch how he's been playing this summer. He's been playing some really good golf.
Yeah, except for the Outlaw. He didn't play very good then.
Well, I don't think none of us did. I don't think none of us had the weekend we planned to have. But, we get week one out of the way. We go down to Longview last week. So go ahead and start us off, Gary.
Well, let's give a quick shout out to Chris Johnson, all the guys at Whataburger, our great sponsors that bring you this thing. Don't forget our encore will be tomorrow, I believe, coming on at about 4:15 tomorrow as we lead into the Panthers and the Dragons in the big rivalry game that comes up tomorrow. Also, of course, Whataburger, Wright Buick GMC, and our good folks at Tia Juanita's got a chance to go for lunch there yesterday and busted up them ribs pies. Tia Juanita's bringing you live from the Pines. We was live from Tia Juanita's yesterday at lunch.
You can't beat that. And you can't forget about the business over there at Wright GMC, taking care of business over there, man. We thank them for everything they do for Lufkin Athletics and, getting this show going. We appreciate those guys. But, Gary, we go down to Longview last Friday, and the Pack came out fired up.
Yeah, they got a couple of breaks. Jamorier came in and caused a turnover. And real quickly, I love where Coach Kirkendall went with that go for the throat. Right after the shoot, after you get the turnover, and got the touchdown to Barraza, get another interception, get another touchdown, and we're up 14-0. I mean, Coach King is going to I think it was still 7 minutes to go first quarter. You knew they weren't going to go away. And they fought back, and I just feel like the game kind of I don't want to say got away from us, but it turned right there with 2 minutes to go in the second quarter. They had tied it up. We got a big play from Waters, got on their end of the field, and ended up having a punt. And we have a mishap on that punt situation, which I'm still not exactly what sure happened. But I thought the game turned there, and then their 7-minute drive in the third quarter. They score 14 points, and we essentially don't touch the ball. And it goes from 14-0 to 28-14.
Yeah, and like you said, you come out and you get that first touchdown. You get that first touchdown, and you come out and get a stop on defense. And we go down and we hit Barraza's deep across the middle of the field. And me personally, I was down there, thinking, okay, this is the year. This is going to be the year. We got them right here. But you can never count a team out like Longview. I had somebody standing beside me. He said, "Never get too high, never get too low." And, those words stuck out. And Longview's, 6A team, great program, great tradition. And, they came out and they did what they do best. They ran the ball. And if you let Longview get a hold of the ball for as long as they did, it's going to be hard to beat those guys.
Well, the stats say that we had 296 yards, but it's a little bit deceiving. 99 of those came on that drive right before the half, where I think we got 50. And then at the end of the game, we picked up another 40. So we struggled offensively most of the night outside of those two short field plays. And we can say what we want. I think the defense played pretty good, considering they were on the field the entire last three quarters pretty much. I mean, they got tired. No question about that. And that's what you got to do to Longview, is what they did to us. And I don't know, yes, they got some big guys. There's no question about it. But at the end of the day, in the second half, our first four drives, three and outs, and then we fumbled 10 plays, minus 7 yards in the third quarter and early in the fourth, and that was pretty much sealed the deal.
Yeah, and like you said, your defense stays on the field the whole second half. You can't do much right there. I think we kept the tempo going high, and I liked no matter what the scoreboard said, I liked a lot about what I saw last week with our team. I think we did a lot of things well. I think we're going to get better as the year comes, and I think we're going to make a chance to run for that district championship again. I think Javion, first varsity start in a long time for that kid. And I think he came out, they were, kind of routed him a little bit, and he kept fighting back and chipping away. And, we just couldn't never get something going the way we wanted it to go. But like we all say, there's a lot of football left to play this year. You get Nacogdoches this week, then you go over to play Arkansas and you go play John Tyler before you start district. And by that time, he should have his groove going and be, feeling comfortable on that offense.
Yep. The stats say 12 of 21, I believe it was, for 117. Was it 117? It was 177 and the touchdown. So, I mean, the numbers aren't bad. Some other stats individually for Lufkin. It was a key K Waters. Our man did a really good job. I get over 100 yards, only on 14 carries, 170. He also had 4 catches on the night. And, of course, Barraza got the touchdown, 4 for 71 and a touchdown. Some individual stats there. And they had Hood for 17 tackles. Our Commercial Bank of Texas player of the game was Davis. He was a big-time havoc wrecker, if you will, there in the first half especially. I think 8 tackles, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 fumble recovery. So the defense made some good plays.
Yeah, and, Davis came out and he showed a lot, as a returning varsity player, senior now this year. I think you got to watch two greats last year, Zion Williamson and Elijah Alexander. You get to play behind those guys and rotate some with those guys. You got to come ready to play this year. Elijah Alexander, we remember what he did last year. He did the same thing Davis did week 1. And we hope that, Davis can continue that throughout the rest of the season. And also, Lil Webb in there, he held his ground right there in the middle. And, he participated a lot right there in that run block, in that run defense.
Yeah, no, I thought the offensive line, I don't know. Again, I don't think we'll see a team better than this for a long, long time, well into December or November for sure. So, they're number 10 in the state in 6A this week. So you don't want to go, saying the season's over because you couldn't move the ball religiously, if you will, on that defense. It's, again, really good up there. I expect the waters to be smoother sailing coming up tomorrow night.
Yeah, and, we go on the road, we play Nacogdoches. I think this is the first time since I was probably in high school we get them at Dragon Stadium. And, it's always going to be a game these kids play up for. It's a big rivalry. We've led that rivalry for a long time, and we haven't had much trouble going down there and taking care of business, or when they come to Lufkin taking care of business. And I think we'll see the same thing tomorrow with the Pack.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. They're off a 35-14 win last week over Palestine. Palestine is – we'll see how that goes. We don't really know much about Nacogdoches. I haven't seen much film on them from that game especially, but I think this is a game that's more about us. We need to go down there and set the tone for what we want to do, and I think Coach Apsick and the guys will do that. I think the defense will be flying around and making some turnovers, and I just got a feeling. Now, again, it may be me. I've been upside down busy this week, so I haven't been out to practice, but I got a feeling Wallace is going to make some plays that I'm going to be very excited about come tomorrow night.
Man, you watch what he did the past few years on that 6A level back down in the Woodlands, and, what he brings the energy to this offense and what he can do with his speed. I'm just ready to see him get going. I think this is going to be a big week for him and for him a chance to help the offense and, get something going for him. We've been waiting to see him flash, and I think, we just got to wait for the right moment. I think this is going to be the week for it to happen. And I think Javion, you get Wallace going, and, it makes your job a little easier. You got a guy like that's been there, done it, and can, contribute a lot on the offensive side of the ball.
Another Coach Outlaw used to say, anytime you go on the road, it's always tough. You got to get the kids on the bus and get over there. So that'll be the key tomorrow. But I still think we'll go over there, and it'll be a packed house, as we all know. But again, Lufkin's only losses ever have been at Dragon Stadium. They've never won in Lufkin, obviously. So we're going to get a good upbeat performance from them. But I just got to feel that our offensive line is going to really have a dominant night tomorrow night.
Man, I watched a little bit of that Nacogdoches and Palestine game, and Nacogdoches started a freshman at quarterback, and, he has legs on him. He can run the ball. They didn't get the ball down the field much throwing it. I think I like our chances with our defense, and, what I've seen with them and their offensive line, I like our chances. I think we're going to be able to take away a lot of their, what they can do, and I like how physical our front four can get, and I like, our guy, number 40, man. We know what he can do. That's a man right there.
No question about it. I look for that. I went around the rest of 9-5A district on Friday night. I didn't see really any surprises. 3 teams lost. Obviously, we lost to Longview. Galveston Ball got meleeed by Manville. I've heard they lost a lot as well. And then Baytown Sterling got beat by Goose Creek. But elsewhere, it was big wins. Beaumont Westbrook with a big win over Eisenhower. They put the shutout. And Pam's the team that we're going to have to keep our little eye on all season long. Port Arthur Memorial goes out and hammers Decaney 48-2. And, boy, if you look at it, their offense, 364 yards rushing against Decaney. Again, I didn't see any film, but they've got the big man coming back. That, of course, is Martin. He had a big day against us down there last year, so he went for 198 yards and a touchdown on Friday night. So, again, we'll keep an eye on that. But Barbers Hill with a big win by 14 over Decaney. They play Manville tonight, actually.
It's 25-7 right now.
Yeah, that's a score I'll be interested to see. Another Thursday night game is Baytown Sterling is on Thursday as well in our district.
31-7, Barbers Hill just scored.
Well, they're winning?
Yeah.
Well, Manville, if Manville's as good as we heard, that says a little bit about what happened last week. But we shall once again see Galveston Ball might really be in deep trouble. But outside of that, I didn't see much going on in our district last week that took me by surprise. Beaumont United plays PNG this week. Westbrook plays Lumberton at home. We mentioned the Manville and Barbers Hill game going on right now. And Port Arthur Memorial will play Houston Legacy. That game will be tomorrow night as well.
You know, Houston Legacy, or is it Spring Legacy, whatever it's called, they have the number one quarterback in the nation right now. He's the kid that's committed to University of Houston.
Well, that'll be interesting to see again. They played. I think they barely beat them last year, if my memory serves me correctly. It was a close game.
Yeah, I don't remember what the score was last year, but, you know, Port Arthur has that kid playing linebacker. He's committed to Texas A&M, Tank King.
Yep.
He called a lot of havoc last week. I saw some videos on Facebook this morning what he was doing, and the kid can for sure play, and he's all man.
Yep, no doubt about that. You know, as we kind of keep our segment up, we kind of roll through the potential playoff opponents. District 12 5A would be our second round matchup. Again, if we get in, District 10 5A is not really noted for their football prowess. So I've got a feeling anybody gets in of our district is going to win all four. But District 9 last week, the only loss was College Station, but they lost to a pretty good team at Klein Collins by a touchdown. So they fell to 15, but A&M Consolidated, no problem with Lake Belton. And Pflugerville Weiss rolled over McNeil. And up top, boy, the new poll, LaPorte, Hammer, Deer Park, and Angleton over Clear Lake. LaPorte is now the number 3 team in the state. Angleton is 4. Pflugerville now 7. A&M Consolidated at 9. College Station 15. And we are in at 18, and Pam, Port Arthur Memorial, in at 12. Looking for this week, Kingwood plays LaPorte. That's going to be a close game. Interesting to see that score. Kingwood has a pretty good team. Angleton plays.
Made a run last year.
Huh?
Made a little run last year.
Yeah, they did. And it's like a 4-point game, so it'll be close to – interesting to see that. San Marcos plays Pflugerville Weiss. Magnolia plays College Station, and A&M Consolidated travels up to Forney. That's an interesting matchup there. I think they played at Consol last year, but now they're playing up to the Jackrabbits tonight or tomorrow night in Forney. That's that kind of 11-12A forecast for you as we get running through the season to the playoffs.
Yeah, and I also wanted to point something out. Cooper Knight sent me something, upsets of the week last week. Austin Westlake drops the game against Prosper 29-22. Dripping Springs beats Vandergrift 41-14. Then you get South Oak Cliff and North Shore. Man, that was a game right there. South Oak Cliff comes in. Actually, North Shore had to travel to Dallas this year. They came to Dallas. South Oak Cliff walks away with a win. South Oak Cliff actually has Duncanville tomorrow night. That's going to be a big game right there. Another big game, Rockwall Heath beats Highland Park. I think that was Highland Park. I can't remember how many losses it was, but they haven't lost much at home.
I think it was their first in over a decade.
Yeah, it was a big one. And then you get Westbourne Starch goes down and beats Newton.
I don't know if that's a big upset.
Yeah.
And by the way, Prosper's top 5 in 6A. I don't know if I'd call that an upset either.
Another big game, our guy Jet Surratt goes and gets Kilgore, and he gets a big win right there.
Well, and then they get a bye week. What kind of scheduling is that?
When you win as many as they do, you make your own. You get to do what you want to do.
Yeah, probably tough to find some games, I would bet, for our man there. Some other games around the area this week. There's some good ones. Diboll plays West Rusk. Huntington travels to Frankston. They're in the top 20 in the 3A ranks. And, boy, my boys at CKT, they're playing something called Cypress Christian.
I never heard of them.
It must be. It's probably homecoming in Crockett tomorrow night, but at Mike Jack Driscoll Stadium. I don't know. Our good buddy Scott Green got off his wing last week at Alto. Are they got Trinity at home this week?
I don't know if they're at home. I know they're playing Trinity. No, they're not at home. They don't play at home for another 2 weeks, I want to say.
Oh boy, that was some good scheduling last year.
Yeah.
And then the battle.
They're not playing at home yet.
I think you're right. I think it is in Trinity. Not very far of a drive there, though, for the Groveton Indians. And the battle of the Coach Kerry Third Winger Bowl. Timpson who he obviously won the state championship with, and Lovelady, who he made it to the semifinal with way back, and they lost to Chilton. I broadcasted that game. They play in Lovelady tomorrow night, although he has retired and not coaching either team. I'm sure the retirement party is going good for him. But again, Diboll on the road, Huntington on the road, and your boy at Westwood, Palestine Westwood. They travel over to San Augustine to play the Wolves tomorrow as well.
Yeah, their head coach comes off that suspension this week. He gets to coach this week.
I'm sure it'll be a couple more weeks. He'll get another one.
Hey, I also got to say a little shout out to our guy John King. He had his procedure this week, and the running back coach, he'll be having the headset this week and making the calls for the Longview Lobos.
Yeah, I saw that. He's not going to be there tonight, right? Or tomorrow night?
No. I saw something that the interim head coach said. It's pretty funny. He goes, I'm from Marshall, but Longview pays my bills. They get Marshall this week.
Well, I doubt they'll have much issue with that as well. And also another one big one this week that we all keep an eye on, John Tyler or Tyler High plays Tyler Legacy tomorrow night up at Trinity Mother Francis. Of course, we'll be playing Tyler High here 3 weeks from tomorrow night after the visit from Arkansas. So we'll be keeping some close eyes on that one as well. And, boy, it seems like it's a far away, but you're going to turn around in a minute, and we're going to be starting District 9-5A play at Barbers Hill very quickly.
Man, September 26th, it's on the calendar. I can't wait to get down there and get ready for that game.
Well, we probably got a few wrinkles to iron out before we get there, and I think one of those steps will be going here tomorrow night, I hope.
Oh, yeah, you get Nacogdoches this week, and you get the team from Arkansas. And like we said earlier in the show, those are two games that you have to take very critical, because that's going to help you develop a lot of talent, a lot of experience that we haven't had out there yet. We got a lot of guys out there that haven't played much varsity football.
Yeah, you're right about that. What you've had a chance to make it out a couple of days to practice this week. I again have not, but I've talked to a few coaches, and they've kind of pinpointed on some things and getting some different kids involved, because as we know, it's going to focus down and wherever number 0 goes, they're going to be sending some players. So we're going to have a plan B when they stop Waters, and I bet they put some work in on that this week.
Yeah, and we all know we all know what we can do right there. You take one out, we got another we can throw at you.
Boy, and I did go back and look at that play. That was targeting on CJ. There's no question about it. That should have been a helmet field contact, 15-yarder.
Yeah, no doubt. That was a brutal hit right there, and we were not far. You were on the better side to see it than we were. We were on the opposite side, the Lufkin side. You're up in the press box, and what's crazy is we were messing with the tunnel, getting it off the field. And I didn't get to watch it live.
Boy, I saw it live, but the replay was spooky. And he just popped up like it was nothing.
He told one of the kids. Yeah, I heard he told one of the kids to go back to the sideline. One of the kids asked him how bad it hurt, because I really didn't even feel it.
Yeah, that's cap. Well, what else? Did anything from the district stand out or Friday night? I mean, I kind of like to turn the page and look to the new one when something doesn't go our way. And the start, when my phone started blowing up, we were up 14-0. But I was just like, man, slow down. Coach King's not just going to go sit in the locker room and wait till this game's over. So, I think Coach Apsek said it best. We did some good things, and he's right, but we got some things to work on, and he was right again.
Man, what I like about that game so much is that tells you a lot about your team. You'll never see this team again this season. You probably, like you said, you won't see a team as good until we get into November, get to round 2. So it gives you a lot to build off of. It shows your kids what they expect and what they expect going forward. You get, like we say, you get Nacogdoches and Arkansas in the next 2 weeks. Let's go out there and let's execute, do the things we need to do right, so we can prepare for, Tyler High and, that District 9-5A. Because once you get out of that District 9-5A, like you said, we're going to get that HISD school. And more than likely, we're going to walk away with a win. But after that, you're going to have to play some real football from there on out.
Yeah, it's going to be a top 10 team. By the time we get there, and would I be shocked if we run the table and go 9-0 the rest of the way? I would not. But at least by the time we get to Port Arthur, I think we're going to see, 7 of the top 10, at least the top 12 teams coming from District 9, 11, and 12. So, and that's going to be a second and third round matchup. It's just like it was last year. I don't think there's much difference here this year.
No, not at all. Another team that we need to talk about District 958. That's Beaumont Westbrook. They were very young last year, and they got all those kids back, and they came out and had a big win this past week, and that's going to be a team to look for in the district this year. I think Matt Steffen, the guys at Dave Campbell had them finishing top 4 in the district.
We struggled with them down there last year. I don't think they scored much. I think there was maybe 3 or so. I think they kicked a field goal late in the game to avoid the shutout. I think it was 24-26-3 or something like that. But that game was knocking. It was nip and tuck throughout the middle of the third quarter. I think we scored a couple there in the middle to kind of stretch it out. But they played very well, and they controlled the ball in the first half with their running game.
Yeah, no doubt. And another thing about Beaumont West for this, I think I heard they got was he a freshman last year? Maybe a sophomore quarterback. I think he was a freshman last year.
Freshman and a freshman running back.
Yeah, they had that freshman. They get him back as a sophomore now, and just like Jayden, he has some experience under his belt, and that's what we're trying to gain with him. Going into these next 2 weeks. Another big thing that stood out to me about the Pack Friday night, and I think this is pretty cool. What do you think about the new tunnel?
Oh, the tunnel's on point, Pops. I mean, the whole team was under it.
Yeah, it's
big. If you went to Groveton on Thursday night, you saw the boys running through the white banner like we did back in the old days at CKT, and then you come over Friday night to watch the Panthers, and they're running through it. Looked like Miami Hurricanes down there with the steam and smoke and all that coming up. It was nice.
Man, all I'm responsible for is making sure the tunnel's there, and we got a great crew getting it put up and everything. But when they pull out those sparkler lights and smoke and everything, and we got LED lights and stuff, that's above my pay grade at work and stuff like that.
You didn't even drive the truck.
I know. We had a coach drive it. Oh, me and Spoon loaded up, and we hit the road, and we went to a little pizza place right there by the stadium. I think it's called Papers or something. Had a little pizza, and we went on to the stadium early, and we got everything ready to go. I don't know. I was fired up Friday night. I'm still fired up. I think we still got a great season ahead of us.
Oh, there's no question. Down the sideline, visiting with Coach Apsek before the game. It was just, we hadn't had a football game in, 6-7 months. And when you haven't had it and it's finally there, everybody was excited. Pretty good crowd there as well. I thought we'd have some more fans make the trip up. But, boy, the listening numbers to the game were fantastic. And I got a feeling come tomorrow night, as usual, when we go to the Nacogdoches, it will be standing room only over there because it's, kind of cramped quarters, if you will. And for the first time ever, I've always sat on the home side as broadcasting-wise since I've been here, but here now they've got a press box on the visitor side, so we'll be set up on the visitor side this year.
Really? I haven't been down there since they got turf and everything. I heard they got turf and they got some new things over there. But one thing that sticks out about Dragon Stadium is pretty cool. It reminds you of small town East Texas football. It's not too big. It's not big. It's not too small. It's just right. What it used to be. I'm sure growing up in the crock pot, it reminds me a lot of playing at Crockett.
Yeah, it's that's where we would have a couple playoff games for sure, and it's a good place for a 3A. I mean, not for us, but it'll be packed. But you're right, everybody's right there on you, and that's what it's all about. Is having the kids need a packed house, and it just feels better. And we normally pack up the A, of course, but I got a feeling it'll be flowing over. I hadn't talked to Miss Sullivan to see how many tickets we sold as today, but I will get a hold of her tomorrow morning and see how it went, and we'll talk about her live when we get over there tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah, and one thing that sticks out I want to talk about real quick. We talked about next week. First game at the A, and I know we'll have our show next Wednesday, but I want to go ahead and let it out the bag right now. We're going to be at the tailgate next week. So we set up right there out front side, the home side, close to the Ag building, right there on that strip of concrete. Going to call it Panther Alley or something, and we're going to celebrate before the game. We're going to probably kick off about 5:30, wrap things up about 7, get everybody in the stands. But, Nacogdoches, for instance, it's right down the road. Get out, go support the kids, fill the stands up. Man, when those kids look up in the stands and they see nothing but purple and gold, that means a lot to those kids. So let's try our best to get out there. I know we got the stream, and they can kick back at home and relax and all those things, but, get out and support those kids tomorrow night.
Yeah, no question about it. Heck, bring your radio or your phone and plug in. You can listen to us. We'll give you some replays of what's going on and try to give you a little insight. We get some, we can watch those Cook Tire replays, and we can kind of see and give you a heads up of what's going on. But need to come out there because, yeah, you're right. I mean, everybody remembers they're playing. You look up and see the stands full, man. And mom, dad, and everyone else there, what have you. You just kind of get jacked up a little bit more. And sometimes you do little things you can't do when you get that fired up, and that's what we hopefully will happen up on tomorrow night over in Nacogdoches.
You remember when y'all first used what radio channel was it? 96. What y'all used to stream on? 97.3, 93.9.
What, here in Lufkin?
Yeah.
So when I started, we were on 100.1. When I got
No,
into
I'm talking about like my generation.
Oh yeah, we were. No, I was. Let's see, that was 2000 what?
2010, probably to 2015.
I think we
it used to be an app you could download and go to the radio station.
Yeah, that's old school.
I remember going to the games. You'd be calling the game broadcast, and you'd see guys up there with those headphones that go over the ear, and they had those little bitty jukebox radios.
Well, so up until about 2009 or 10, we would bring a little I don't even know what you call it now, but you could plug into a frequency when you got there. So all you needed was a Walkman, and we would put it up everywhere on what frequency we were on, and you could have a Walkman and tune in. You were listening live. Whatever we said off the screen, on the screen, it was good stuff, but it was also highly illegal, I heard. So when we moved over to Kicks, they wouldn't let us do that anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
I
didn't know that.
I'm sure you didn't. I want to ask you something. How was your setup last week in Longview? Where they have you at?
Well, it was a little different. It was the tightest we've ever been. Normally we got our own booth, but they're working a lot of construction over there and on the roof. I think they were laying tar or something, so there was no access to the roof. So our filmers for high school for Lufkin had to film in our booth. So it was a little tight, and I couldn't see on the far end of the field, but that's all right. We made it, when you're from LP, you just do what you got to do. You make it work. And so me and old Sterling got together, and he would look forward, and I looked back, and we got it all in there pretty good.
Well, I heard about it. I talked to Evelyn at the game, and he said, "Man, I could have just hugged Nasty."
Yeah, he and Sterling were in there. It was all right. We've been in tighter quarters. What's that? There's a field in Dallas, Kincaid Stadium. You ever been there?
Oh yeah.
That's the worst place to broadcast a game in history that I can remember off the top of my head. Josh Havard had to sit in my lap.
Quick question before we move on from high school sports. What were you most pleased to see with Lufkin last week? What stood out the most to you?
I really thought the front line on the defense held up. I know we're looking at this 7-minute drive, but man, we had a 3rd and 13, and they got that screenplay. I'm telling you, coming out of halftime, if we stopped that, there's a lot of ifs that could have happened in that game. Turns out, and we didn't do it. But I think we gave up. Let me get my numbers here right. A total of 411 yards. 90 of it came on that drive right out of the timeout. I don't know. I came away. I came away thinking that defensively, because I really thought that we were going to have a lot of problems defensively due to graduation. I mean, you only got 2 starters coming back, but I thought Davis and the big man Bagne on the outside did very well. And Hood made a lot of tackles, but again, I don't know what was happening on the tight end. It never fails when we play Longview. The tight end is giving us heck. But we had some communication problems, and I'm sure they'll get that worked out. But I really came away thinking the defense was a lot better than I thought it was going to be coming into the season.
Man, that deep, like you said, we said that in the scrimmage, defense stood out. Our defense, we lost a lot of guys. We got a guy playing at Michigan State, got a couple other guys playing. And when you lose talent like that around the board, it's hard to replace that. I think these guys came out in the scrimmage and week 1 in the first game of the year. I think they came out, showing that they can play some ball.
Yeah, they did. So that's what I came away with. And again, a couple good plays in the first half. We got to get some first downs in the second half. Maybe we don't score, but you got to give the defense a little bit of a breather. That's kind of what happened. Again, I'm not smart enough to know exactly why that happened, but at the end of the day, they had some positive signs. But I really came away thinking the defense was really in there dogging it out a lot better than I was anticipating coming into the season.
No doubt. And, as we move on, I know you want to go ahead and talk about it. Arch Manning.
He was terrible. What's the deal? I thought they had walk and talk. Now, luckily for me, I did go to Shreveport after our game and get over there and just jacked up to. As I told you last week, I was all in on Texas, but you could tell early those teams were neither team was better than the other. You know, I think it was both had jitters. Neither coach, they didn't want to lose the game, and I think that's how they called plays. And at the end, the freshman made a couple plays for LSU or for Ohio State, and Arch couldn't. But man, he did not look good throwing the football. That alarms me. And he's got the best athletes on his side.
Yeah, I really don't know what to say about that game. You know, we talked about it last night on our weekly college football show, and you know, one thing that stood out was his mechanics. I watched that 20-minute video with Chase Daniels, and he went through and broke down every pass with Arch Manning, and you know, he just didn't look comfortable. Like, he didn't look himself. He was throwing off balance, throwing across his body. You know, he was throwing across his body at times where he didn't have to. All he had to do was step up and make a throw. And I just, you know, didn't get it. I think our defense played very well. I think the defense came out. When you go on the road, you hold a team like Ohio State to 200-something yards, you did your job. You hold them to 14 points, you really did your job. So, you know, you get in a game like that when it's 14-0, and you go in and you miss a couple big throws. You miss Wingo right there, back shoulder on that drag route. And you you give the ball back to the defense. You can't win ball games like that. And, you know, it all falls back on, you know, Arch Manning and Steve Sarkisian. I think Texas ran the ball really well. I think they did that. And I think that offensive line, you know, you lose all those guys and you have a new offensive line coming in. I think that offensive line held up better than most people expected.
Well, they just had a couple of 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s, and they were not doing anything creative to let Manning, you know, whether it's a naked bootleg or any kind of pass. I mean, it was hand the ball off, and they weren't getting that done. And I don't know, I just got the feeling that they thought they would overpower him at the end and just didn't want to make any mistakes as the way he coached that game.
Yeah, and we didn't walk out with a W. Texas A&M goes, they get UTSA at home, they get a big win. TCU wins, Houston wins.
That was a big touchdown UTSA scored at the end of that ball game. You didn't see it.
I watched it. I watched a little bit of it, and we talked about Bill Belichick. He goes out and gets embarrassed. I don't know what happened, Bill.
LSU. I think LSU outside Ohio State had the biggest win of the weekend. We'll talk about them in a minute, but you're right on that. They went right down, scored immediately, up 7-0, and everybody's already saying, "Boy, NFL coaches wishing they had Belichick." Well, that was the last time they would say that. Skip Bayless said some of the dumbest things on Twitter I have ever seen at one drive in to that. So he had to eat those words. But, you know, I didn't know how it was going to go. Is he going to be really good or really bad? And early results say it's really bad. But we'll see. You know he's going to coach them up.
He has 70 new kids on roster.
Yeah. I mean, you can't just think they're going to come in and immediately get it done. I mean, you know. A big win for Miami as well. I forgot to mention them. Miami had a pretty good able to get that late field goal.
What about Florida State?
That's a huge one. I forgot about that. And, you know, I saw something, 4 losses to unranked teams for DeBoer, and that's as many as Saban had in his career.
Yeah. Man, I think Alabama fans are a lot like these Lufkin fans. You know, we take winning real serious when we want to win, and especially when you've done it for a long time. And, man, I think DeBoer you got to tread lightly in Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
Well, they're not going to run him off in week 2, but I was going to look at that schedule coming up. I think I got a cream puff this week, but Monroe. But I mean, you got Wisconsin, Georgia on the next 2 weeks. You lose at Wisconsin, and then come back and get hammered at Georgia.
They might be ready. And I know Trey talked about last night on the show, and the way his buyout's paid out, it's paid out in increment installments and everything. So I think they can definitely swing it, getting him out of there if they need to.
I thought somebody put up after that game already alerting the Alabama alum his buyout was $67 million. That's not right. Maybe I saw. I think it was a joke, but it was still pretty funny. I think Brad Powers put that out. I can't remember who it was, but it was still pretty funny. But, yeah, there's some good wins for sure last week. And Utah, my pick to win the Big 12, came out and thumped UCLA. That was one of my wins. And I think I went 3-1 for Saturday, my lone loss coming on my Longhorns.
Man, I don't want to talk about it. I was not expecting Cade Klubnik and Clemson to have the game they did. I thought they'd come out and make some big plays. They couldn't get a run game going to save their lives.
No, those big boys for LSU, they're pretty good up front. Manhandle that line for sure.
And LSU looked really good defensively.
Yeah,
that secondary is a real deal.
They're on my. I got a couple of 3 winners I like this week. They're on the board.
Who else do we have? We had Miami and
I didn't pick Miami, but I think I might even had Notre Dame. I got to start.
yeah,
writing
Notre
these
Dame,
down.
Miami. I had Notre Dame for sure.
But I know I had LSU and I had my boys at Utah. That's for sure.
Did you have
I think I took Alabama too. I think I might have
Yeah,
went 3-2. I gotta go back and check my tickets.
Did you think any chance that Florida State could come out and do what they did?
I did not. They never crossed my mind.
I saw something I just read. It just popped on my other computer that says if Alabama's smart, they'll get Muschamp. You know, it ain't gonna take much to get him over there.
Muschamp.
He ain't got a job.
Well, wonder why. Throwing that out there. I don't know. The slate of games this week isn't. There's only one battle of top 25 teams, I think, and that's going to be going up in Norman. There's some good games, but again,
We're supposed to be there.
Y'all going?
No, you were supposed. We were all.
I wanted to go. Nobody brought it up since.
You remember we were sitting on one during the Outlaw trying to plan it?
I was in. If y'all have tickets, I'm still in.
Well, Spoon's playing in Houston.
Well, see, don't blame it on me. I'm in. I'm always in. Big, always in, nasty.
We need to make us a trip. To Gainesville, Florida, and Texas.
Texas going to Florida?
Yes.
I'm going to Ole Miss next week. Watch Arkansas.
What time we rolling out?
Well, you more than welcome to jump in. I'll probably head out of here. I got one rider with me. We got room for one more. Probably leave about 4:30 or 5 Saturday morning. 6 o'clock game. Gotta get over there to the Grove, baby. I've heard it's great.
we gotta leave at 4:30 and 5. Then we gotta make the game that night.
Yep.
You're gonna need a power drink, buds.
I'm taking a youngster. He's gonna do all the driving.
I hear you. What's another game we got? We got SMU and Baylor.
Yep, interesting game there. I think this is a season maker for Baylor. They can't afford to lose another one like this, and LSU or SMU kind of recovering as well. I think it's a must-win game for Baylor as far as getting a little morale after what happened last week.
Man, I didn't get to watch the game. They played on Friday, right?
Yeah, they were.
Yeah, we were watching the pack, but I heard they had some big stats.
Yeah, they gave up a lot of yards. So that's a good one. Let's see. Let's start at 11 o'clock. ABC, Texas, huge favorite. I'll be worried about them running it up. We'll see. But this is a good one here. So win total-wise, I took Illinois to get to 8 wins. I think they got a chance to do some good business here this year. Number 11, but they're traveling to Duke. Interesting spot here for the Illini. I know it's not a high-profile game, but it's a pretty important game for me.
You got them at 8.5 wins this year?
I got them over 7.5. I got to get to 8. Mm. And I'd already penciled in Duke as one of those. But they got Indiana and USC on the horizon. So, it's still early to see. But that's a good one. Iowa and Iowa State. Man, Beck nuts last week. That's 2 weeks in a row for Rocco. 460 yards passing pods. That's Heisman stuff right there.
I think he came out the first drive and bombed. Who did they play last week? Iowa State?
No, Iowa State played somebody week last week. The week before they beat Kansas.
Yeah. Somebody came out last week. I was sitting at home watching something, and I thought it was Iowa State, and they came out and bombed somebody the first play of the game.
That was them.
Okay, it was them. I was making sure.
It was a directional school out of Indiana, I think, but you get my point. A&M, the boys got Utah State. Another easy play there for the Aggies.
Yeah.
Here's one I like. Have you heard Gundy and the boy at Oregon going back and forth this week?
No, I'm not. What they've been doing?
What's Oregon's coach's name?
I did see it. He said they spent them. Yeah, I saw that.
The best line. Lanning, yeah. I think the line's 29 here. I got a feeling they're going to lay the lumber on Oklahoma State. And I kind of hope they do. I'm never a Gundy fan. I can't stand him. Shout out to my girl Macy at Oklahoma State, though, but I'll be rooting for the Ducks.
Yeah, I think the Ducks will take care of that one.
Ole Miss goes to Kentucky. Now, I need Ole Miss to win this game, so the game is at 6:30 tomorrow next week. Because if they lose this, they're going to move them down to 11, and then I got a problem.
You're going to be in a big pickle.
What it sounds like, if Ole Miss wins at Kentucky, that's going to be a 6:15 game on ESPN next Saturday against Arkansas down at the Grove.
Well, that's going to be a big game right there.
Yeah, looking forward to that. That's a 2:30 tomorrow or Saturday, excuse me. Now, here's LSU. I got 3 picks for you that I'm really rolling with. LSU is playing La Tech and giving them 38.
You like it?
Oh, I'm all over the textures. It's the classic sandwich game. Put some pimento cheese on this bad thing and some mustard. Sandwich spot. You beat up last week, right, on Clemson. Guess who they got next week?
La Tech.
No, they got La Tech tomorrow or Saturday. Who they got next week? Florida.
Oh, yeah, they got Florida.
So this week, I think we're going to be a little flat, come out slow. Give me La Tech plus the 38. That's my first pick of the weekend.
Man, that game next week with Florida and LSU, DJ Lagway getting a chance to come out and play against LSU, that's going to be a big game right there.
Oh, for sure. I can't wait to watch that. We'll be listening to it. Well, I guess that'll be the 2:30 game on CBS for sure, I would think.
Yeah, no doubt.
That should be a good one. Arizona State traveling down to Mississippi State Starksville tomorrow or Friday as well. Love me Mississippi State plus the 7, all in on that. And I can't the Battle of Michigan and OU. I love our boy Reed, and I know you like them Sooners, but I think I got to have me the +5 with Michigan.
I'm taking Michigan. I like them. I know that Spoon and Little Spoon, had a lot to say about what Mateer did last week, but they ain't play anybody.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So we'll see how that goes. I want the 5. I think Oklahoma could win the game, but I would have to take my 5 points for that one. And of course, we know my upset pick of the week. That'll be it was LSU last week. We're going Mississippi State this week. I think they beat Arizona State outright.
Man, that's gonna be a close one right there. Mississippi State, they bought some guys in this year, and I think they got a chance to do something, do something special this year in the SEC. I'm not saying they're gonna do anything, it's crazy, but I think they got a chance to, work their way back into a little relevancy.
Well, what were you thinking? They got the NFL starts tonight. Your Cowboys are playing as we speak. They're a little tied up right now with the Philadelphia Eagles. Middle of the second quarter. What games or spots are you looking forward to the weekend on Sunday?
Man, I like that Kansas City Chargers game tomorrow. I think Kansas City's gonna take. I think the line's at 3.5 Kansas City, and I think Kansas City can cover that easy. And then you get into Sunday, and you got Tampa Bay with Atlanta. I think Atlanta's going to, I don't know, man. I like Baker, and I think that Tampa Bay is going in the right direction, but I really like what Atlanta has going over there with those young guns. And then you get the Steelers and the Jets. Shout out to my guys on the Northeast, Joey DeLoria. Man, you got to take the Steelers right here. I like Fields. I think Fields is pretty special, but man, I don't think he has the weapons around him to make something shake. And then you get Miami and Indianapolis. I'm rocking with Tua. I think Tua is going to be able to come do something big this year. Then you get Carolina, Jacksonville. You want to flip a coin?
No, I'm kind of nervous. That Jacksonville coach has me a little nervous. I got to tell you, the Lim Cohen coming in from I from Tampa Bay. I got a feeling this guy knows what he's doing, and if Trevor Lawrence is any count at all, he could be dangerous this year in fantasy.
Big game. There's a few big games this weekend. You get Cincinnati and Cleveland, Buffalo and Baltimore. It's gonna be a pretty big game right there. And then on Monday Night Football, you roll over. You get Chicago and Minnesota. Yeah. I don't know how that landed as the first week spot on Monday Night Football, but
get it over with.
Yeah, go ahead and get that one over with. But we're coming to our time right now. But we want to thank everybody for thank everybody for watching the show tonight. Make sure to go like, subscribe, follow us live from the Pines. Nasty, go ahead and take us out of here.
All right, man. Once again, special thanks to Whataburger, Tia Juanitas, and Wright Buick GMC for bringing you tonight's live from the Pines. Thanks for having me on. And don't forget, we'll replay tonight's broadcast, get all the tidbits on the high school football slate. Tomorrow we'll be on about, 4:45-ish?
Yeah, we'll be on early tomorrow.
And then we'll be live with Coach Absek tomorrow at 5:45, live from Dragon Stadium. And then, of course, your Lufkin Coca-Cola kickoff coming your way at 7 o'clock. Remember, guys, not 7:30 this week. The rest of our kickoffs are at 7 o'clock in the regular season. So going to be a fun night tomorrow night over in Nacogdoches.
And make sure you get out and support the Pack tomorrow. We're looking for a big Panther win tomorrow. Mike, I hope we'll get there striving tomorrow.
Man, I'm ready. Nothing better than striving on a Friday night.
Hey, can't beat it. Thank you, Gary. We appreciate you. Thank you, everybody, for watching.